Okay, good evening, everybody. Uh, Time is flying by. I got a different hat on today. Well, tonight. Well, I got another copy right video block. Lucy, Lucy, Mama. Hang on a second. I got to take this call. Hang on. Did you guys hear what I was talking on the phone? Did I mute okay? My brother in law and my sister just got home from a 4 day long weekend. He just called me. They just got home and checked on me. Okay, he told me my pork chops look good. I sent him those photos of the pork chops. Okay, good. I did it right then. Yeah, they just got back from seeing the grandkids in Kansas City, and so made the chicken breast tonight. I said to you, two for me and two for you. Okay, I'll send it in the mail for you. Okay. Starfire, where you all been working? We got a I got another copyright block, so they're blocking some of my videos, but at least they're not taken down. But trying to catch up with everything. There's so much news coming out Thursday. Thursday could be a big day. And we got Carol. How's it going? But it's only a copyright, so I guess everybody gets a lot of those. So long, I don't, they would have taken me down a long time ago, I think. So, but you guys got to make sure you sub to my other channels. What I got, all the new people that came in. Got to make sure. Oh, stop whining! Stop. Hang on a second. I gotta get Chico in the window. Get up there. Come on. Up. I hope everybody got to listen to all the videos today on the first show. I had some really good ones today. Is the TV too loud? Hey, I was talking to my brother-in-law. They just got home from their 4-day weekend. Okay, we're going to start off with shorts for a bit. We had a lot of big videos this afternoon, so I'm going to play that second John Downing with Mark Z, 20 minutes, one, and then other couple other 20-minute ones, and then so I got 3 or 4 cat lady ones, I think. We're going to go ahead and start off with this one here. We'll get started here. Hopefully everybody will be in tonight. Is this guy that does the Q stuff? Is he right?
2026. Palace in the sky. It's beautiful. A temporary Air Force One from guitar. Now, I caught something I don't think anybody else caught. Watch this. He's signing the escape hatch. But notice the arrows. You see these arrows? One goes up and one goes here. But I want to show you something. You got to look real close to see it, okay? So as we look at it,
This just came out.
here it is. It says 11A, 1764. If you take 17 minus 64, you get 47. That's Trump. But what is the 11A?
How far? You know this guy? Is he okay?
Again, he's right here. See it? 11A. It's right there. 11A. 17 minus 64 gives you 47. Now, this is his new plane. He's signing the escape hatch of all things, escape hatch. Now, check this out. Air Force One, June 19, 2026, his new plane. Now, there was an India crash back in the day, and they had a sole survivor. Remember that? They had a sole survivor for the India crash. Look at the seat he was sitting in. 11A. You heard me, 11A. June 12, 2025. Look at the dates. June 12, 2025. June 19th is the day that Trump signed his plane. The difference is 111. What is 111? Well, if you take the first letter of the alphabet, you got 1, right? Okay, so let's look at it. A is the first letter of the alphabet. So if it's 11A, that's 111. And that's what that is. That's the guy. August 15, 47, India was founded. Boeing was the plane. They were founded July 15, 1916. I subtracted the dates of Boeing and India. 33 years and 614. Trump's birthday is 614. What a combination. There it is, the video right there. I put it together. I caught it, people. I caught it. French Shot Blue, French Shot Blue, YouTube. Please subscribe. It's here.
Okay, I hope that was okay. A couple of ladies or videos from our cat lady. Oh. Oh, wait. I changed my mind. I want to play this one to see what you guys think of Bill Clinton's remarks about this. I don't know. Well, we got to hear it, though. We got to listen to the bad, too, what we always say. It's 7 minutes. He thinks he knows
Think
that?
about the sequence. In 2018, we tore up the JCPOA, a deal our allies supported that international inspectors were verifying
Why he's
that was
not there?
constraining Iran's nuclear program. We said it was a bad deal. We said we could do better. Then we imposed maximum pressure for years. Iran got stronger, not weaker. Then we started a war.
I don't want to hear that. Sorry about that one, you guys. Got a 3-minute game.
Hey, even from friends. I still have friends that'll text me something, and I love them to death, and I'm like, it's a military occupation. I don't know how many times I got to say this. I love you, but it's an occupation. You're reading stuff today and forgetting that the occupation was put into place back here. And the continuity of operations. The continuity of operations actually proves the occupation more than the occupation, because the continuity of operation was put into place the January 17th, 2017 and June 13th, 2017. FCD 1, Federal Continuity Directive 1, Federal Continuity Directive 2. And there's been 10 publications under those. All right. But then when President Trump went on the capitulation tour, everybody wants to say, where's the proof? I've shown you more proof than you can shake a stick at. All right. And you still have people I need proof. I don't know. I don't know if I want to believe that. I don't know if I can. That don't make sense. Because you don't know the prerequisites. You don't know the terminology. And I'm not knocking you. That's what we're here for. But you can't if you keep complaining, then if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and expect the same results, then what do they say about people like that? I'm not going to say it. Someone in the comment box probably will. But if you're complaining, then it sounds like you want to know. So if you're complaining and griping, then you got to find out in the way that you can. It don't matter if it takes you 2 weeks to read the blueprint versus your friend a week. Don't worry about your friend. You study in the time period it takes you to give you the consolation you need. But the military occupation is a martial law. That's exactly what military occupation means. It's a suspension of the Constitution. President Trump, one of his most recent ads, said we're going to restore law and order. You know what the word restore means? Bring back. All right. He went on what they call a capitulation tour from 2017 to 2020. It's in the Law War Manual. Now that is 1,254 pages. It is not going to be fun for all of you civilians hearing that for the first time. However, you can read chapter 11 and chapter 12 will catch you up to speed a lot more. Chapter 12 is your capitulations. All right. President Trump went on these capitulations. Russia, North Korea, China, India, stepping in front of the Queen. All right. That was not an error. That was a capitulation. All right. And to prove that, even though everybody who's been watching me on here already knows this, I'm doing a quick rundown for all the new people watching. To prove that even more, President Trump says, remember Angela Merkel? No one's remembering her right now. I gave her the white flag of surrender. If you walked up to every American right now on the street, microphone, can you tell me what the white flag of surrender is? And I don't mean Call of Duty and all those games that your kids play and probably your husband who neglects you. Oh, did I say that? What is a white flag of surrender? Can we play the Jeopardy song?
Hey, Vigo.
Right, whatever it is. I don't even know the Jeopardy song. Can't even play it. I don't even watch TV anymore. The white flag of truce is in the Law War Manual. Does somebody want to give me a drum roll? You want to hit that drum roll? Guess what chapter it is? Same chapter as the capitulations, chapter 12. And President Trump sitting there telling all these Americans who have never heard the word capitulation in their life and white flag of truce in their life, the white flag of truce and negotiations in their life, Donald John Trump is speaking a language so foreign to every American, and he's telling you, we're in a military occupation. But you got to know the prerequisites to know what's going on. And it's still ongoing. And they show you nuggets every day, just like the debate. Bunch of nuggets in there we're going to get to. All right, so then the continuity of operations. They show you this every day. And you have a veteran out there occasionally will say, well, Donald Trump did not invoke the Insurrection Act on January the 6th, so there's no way he could still be president. First off, that has nothing to do with him being president still. All right, the military occupation put into place back here in 2017 was telling you he was going to still be your president until this was over. Wartime president. All right, because the Constitution was suspended way back here. That's what a military occupation is. It's a martial law, suspension of the Constitution.
Okay, first DJ. Other lady on TikTok.
Andrew Garfield as OpenAI's Sam Altman. The movie was a hit during test screenings, but Amazon dropped it anyway. Here's why that should scare you. Amazon MGM dropped Artificial after signing a $50 billion partnership with OpenAI. Variety sources say that while the test screenings went very well, audiences found that the film's characters of Sam Altman and Elon Musk were highly unlikable. So the film was a hit and likely to be profitable, but risked making other tech bro overlords look bad. Remember, this is the same company that paid $40 million for a Melania Trump documentary. So Amazon will spend $40 million on propaganda for the Trump family, but won't release a finished, profitable film that might make their new business partner look bad.
Does that sound like she's against Trump, you guys? Can anybody ask or get an opinion on that? I thought she was a good person, but it sounded like she was against it right there. I think she's against it. Ah.
Wanted to give you guys an update. I have cracked the code. I have figured out what TikTok community standards is and how it applies to us. So listen closely, and I hope this clears anything up because I've been getting violated left and right. My account is at a warning. One more strike, I'm going to get banned. Everything I post is taken down. So after much research and finally getting a hold of a live person at TikTok, this is what I found out. If you are a liberal, if you're on the left and you support the unaliving of the president, if you dance around holding weapons and pretending that you are mocking the death of a white person, if you promote violence, hate, if you sing about crackers, if you get on this app and all you talk about is praying and waiting and hoping that the president has a stroke, or you celebrate the death of Charlie Kirk or any conservative, you are fine. You don't have to worry about anything. If you are a conservative, if you show any support at all for being a Republican, it doesn't matter if you post a video of you feeding a cat in a trailer park. That video violates community standards. So let me sum it up for you. If you are a conservative, if you show any support for your country, for the flag, for the president, you are fucked, okay? It doesn't matter if you comment the word wow. It doesn't matter if you post a video of you picking a flower. It doesn't matter. You have violated TikTok standards, okay? Now, if you want to get on here and celebrate unaliving the fucking leader of the free world, go for it. In fact, your video will be pushed out. If you report that video of someone celebrating the death of a white boy, your ass is going to be violated. I hope this clears that up for anybody that's confused on what's going on. Conservatives, fucked. Liberals, good to go. Hope that clears up. Take care, guys. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody's having a great Monday.
Okay, I got a second one here. I don't think we played this one.
You feel like you don't know what else to do. You cannot give up. Let me tell you something. I have been to that point where I have been so upset, and I thought to myself, my God, what am I going to do? Things are so bad. Well, I made myself a promise last night that I was going to start thinking differently, doing things differently. And you know what? 8 hours a day, if you don't have a job, Dr. Phil says you should be looking for a job 8 hours a day, right? Well, I've got 2 jobs, but my business has been down. So I thought, well, you know what? What am I doing? 8 hours a day, 4 days a week, I'm going to be out looking for business. So I've been doing that today. Now, let me tell you, it is humid, it is rainy, it is disgusting, it is vile. But I have not stopped. All I've got on my mind is cleaning the litter box. The house is dirty. Laundry needs to be done. But by God, I got out and I made myself go. Now, I've been out busting my rumpus, going from place to place, cold calling. I'm starving, so I stopped by Bojangles and get me a little chicken snack with some honey mustard, okay? So I pull over real quick to open it up so I can eat it as I'm driving. How about I open the honey mustard, and don't ask me how I get attacked by a condiment, but the freaking honey mustard explodes, shoots honey mustard all over my face, in my hair, Thank God it only stopped here. I don't know how I didn't get on my shirt. I guess I was lucky. Well, lucky for me that Jesus left his outfit in the back of my damn car last night because I guess he was too tired to remember to take it inside. And I just wiped honey mustard off my face, my neck, and my hair with a Jesus costume. Now, let me tell you something. If that ain't motivation for you to get off your ass, if you're having a slump, I don't know what else is, okay? Because the only person that's going to pull you out of a slump is you. The only person you can count on is you. So if you're feeling down in the dumps about anything, or you're feeling like you're not succeeding, you have to get up and you have to go out there and you have to make it happen, okay? And it is a feeling of accomplishment. Even if you go home smelling like honey mustard. Oh, and I can't even remember because I'm so tired. I've only had 3 hours sleep. Did I tell you that as I shifted to clean everything, my phone charger, the end of it, fell into the honey mustard? It's just been a day, but guess what? I'm not giving up, and neither should you.
Never give up. Never give up. Hey, we got 2 of those in. We got Dallas news, 8 minutes. Then I got a couple feeding videos and our 2 older ladies.
It's quick.
I'm Christina Awayo Dallas, and here are your top stories.
When I'm not in uniform, I'm gonna knock you.
7 minutes.
And whip your teeth out.
The 2 Muslim civil enforcement officers who turned off their body cams, then threatened to pull a man's teeth out, have been fired by the conservative majority Harrow Council.
I'm gonna show you what time it is. Come now.
Do your thing, man.
If I call a police officer for you, he'll up, you know.
Locals are now voicing concern over hiring migrant Muslims to police citizens due to the violent nature being displayed and their Sharia-based beliefs they are systematically trying to enforce on non-Muslims.
I'll come and throw you through the fucking walls, brother, and put paint all over you, bro.
Harrow Council and the contractor Kingdom Services Group confirmed they fired both officers, saying threats of violence and deliberate disabling of body cameras are unacceptable and were dealt with immediately. Elizabeth Warren is criticizing Elon Musk after SpaceX's NASDAQ debut while getting off her private jet and riding in her limo to her $4 million mansion in Cambridge to enjoy her $12 million net worth. Take a listen.
At a time when more and more people are just hanging on by their fingernails to survive in this economy, and Elon Musk has more money and more wealth than anyone in human history. I want to be clear. This is not just some fluke. It is a feature of a rigged economy.
Okay, so Musk, who is self-made, hit trillionaire status after SpaceX's IPO. His companies employ massive numbers of Americans, more than 500,000 jobs. SpaceX has over 22,000 full-time employees as of early this year. Tesla has hundreds of thousands of full-time employees. XAI and others, additional tens of thousands. Musk's companies pay out over $110.7 billion in salaries over 5 years, meaning people are supporting their families and making a living because of his companies. Musk injected over $338 billion from 2021 to 25 via payroll, suppliers, etc., into the U.S. economy. His U.S. impact is over $1 trillion, supporting over 500,000 jobs and generating massive tax revenue. Musk's ventures have created thousands of millionaires among employees through stock options, many of which are engineers, factory workers, and technicians. Conservatives call Warren's attack pure hypocrisy. She attacks a man whose companies drive American innovation, jobs, and economic growth, while she lectures from her elite Cambridge bubble. Here are some fast facts on Warren. Warren has repeatedly used private chartered flights and limos. In 2020, during her presidential run, her campaign spent over $750,000 on private jets. Videos from February 2020 show her deplaning a private jet in Iowa and ducking behind aides when spotted. She has pushed IRS crackdowns on corporate jet perks for executives, but enjoys the same high-end travel perks for herself and her team. She doesn't contribute to the economy of the U.S., create companies, create private sector jobs. She freely spends American tax dollars on herself, her staff, illegal migrants, and climate change deals while shutting down companies like Spirit costing jobs because she didn't agree with a merger. Republicans see this as the ultimate rules for thee, but not for me. They point out that Warren built her wealth on a $174,000 Senate salary, then attacks self-made job creators like Musk. Many on the right demand full audits of Congress, stock trading bans, and blind trust for members. They argue no one, especially Democrats pushing wealth taxes that wouldn't hit Warren but would punish innovators, is above the law. They call Warren's wealth selfish wealth that doesn't add to the economy, create jobs, or generate tax revenue, which is opposite that of Musk's, which is a job-creating machine. While Musk builds rockets, cars, and AI that employ hundreds of thousands of Americans and boosts GDP, Warren flies private and calls for higher taxes on success. Now many are wondering, should all Democrats be required to take an Economics 101 class? ICE detained 22 out of 30 illegal migrants from Rhino Roofing and Siding, warning the owner of the business that they were coming back for him. The company, owned by Ryan Lamuska and based in Nisswa, Minnesota, was working on some post-storm work. Some of the illegal migrants jumped from roofs and ran into nearby woods when agents arrived around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Agents detained the men, later holding 11 in Crow Wing County Jail and 11 in Kandiyohi County Jail, according to Lamuska, who said legal workers were released after verification. Lamuska, the media, and some nearby liberals who didn't witness the operation criticized ICE.
Driving on the grass and everything in between the houses and everything, they didn't care to speak to me. They said they were going to come track me down after.
It is a federal crime to knowingly hire illegal migrants and can carry a prison sentence if convicted. Employers must verify work authorization through I-9 forms. Lamuska publicly admitted that, quote, a good portion of our whole industry is done by illegal migrants. This means at least 22 jobs have immediately opened up for American citizens. ICE said the operation was, quote, a precise intelligence-driven effort rather than a broad sweep, and focused on specific illegal migrants with prior removal orders or other immigration violations. Agents completed the operation and left the area. Lamuska's claim that agents were broadly arresting then releasing people doesn't appear to be true. The Minnesota Star Tribune headline read, quote, roofers jump from homes in Bemidji to escape ICE agents. They focused on illegals scrambling into the woods, the crew shrinking to 7 men, and Lamuska making frantic calls for replacements. They promoted GoFundMe pages for men like Mario Perez and described the scene with words like abductions. The emphasis stayed on short staffing for the contractor, fear among families, and agents driving across grass instead of the federal violation of employing migrants who are in the country illegally and were already served their final order of removal. Okay, let's go ahead and take a 30-second break so I can tell you about a company that could save you a whole lot of time.
Okay, that was it of her update there. I got a new 4-minute one, and then we'll do the next two bidding. No, Chico, I don't want the window open.
In the middle of the FIFA World Cup. They're not going to do that, I don't think. I would be very surprised because President Trump plays a 5-level chess board, and he's looking at all those things and the impact of all those things on all the people. Not just the U.S. people, but the people around the world. And his off-world friends, of which there are a lot. So when we start to look at that, and we have to say, okay, when is it logical to have an EBS? It must happen, because people have to understand why they got a gold-backed currency.
How's this one?
If nothing else, because they're going to go to a gold-backed currency, and it's not far off. And they're going to find out that the IRS is gone. They're going to find out that the Fed is gone. They're going to find out that all the Feds around the world are gone. They're going to find out about Tartaria, which Putin has already said he's going to start to release the history of Tartaria. That's a big deal, because Tartaria was a...
What is the hit? Yeah, please define in layman's terms Tartaria. Walk us through that.
Tartaria was a civilization on this planet that had technology that far exceeds anything we have today. It operated out of Russia, but there was Tartarian. There are buildings in the United States that were built by the Tartarians. There are buildings underneath Niagara Falls that were built by the Tartarians. The Tartarians left many, many what people call churches. They were actually energy centers.
Did we play this yet or not?
Because they had
I don't remember.
connections to the global energy network. Tartaria, and I haven't read a lot about it, but I know that it is a significant part of history that was destroyed probably in the 1800s and earlier. And Russia is where the Tartarian came from. If you heard of the Tartars, Tartarians.
Well, thank you.
They were a peace-loving, peaceful people, and they had all kinds of free energy, free, just beautiful things that worked. And so Putin has announced in the last 2 weeks that he's going to revive the history of Tartaria. That's a big deal. People are going to have a lot of trouble with that when they realize how much certain people took away from them over the last 300 years. Let's say 300 years.
Okay, sorry if I replayed it, but some people might have missed it.
When does that happen? Islam is else a political ideology that seeks to expand its power through the fusion of the church and the state together to ruthlessly control a society, and they ruthlessly control 50 different majority Muslim countries around the world. And you wouldn't like living there because, well, all of the rights that you enjoy and take for granted here in the West don't exist. Freedom of speech, they have blaspheming laws. You could be put to death. Freedom of religion, try entering Mecca as a non-Muslim. You'll be put to death. Freedom of association, nope. All men are created equal, Try being a non-Muslim in a Sharia law court. You have less rights in every one of these countries as a non-Muslim legally. Those are the laws of the Quran. Those are the laws of Muhammad and many other very different, very foreign, very dark cultural practices and that you wouldn't like. And that's fine by me because I don't care about these countries. Like, they're not my concern. I'm not from there. I don't plan on going to these countries. I don't want to live in these countries. But I also don't want Sharia law in my country. You see, there's so many different countries. There's hundreds of millions of square miles of Muslim countries where you can live under and enjoy Muslim systems of courts, laws, governance, and legislation. But why do you have to bring it to the West? The West is antithetical to Islam. Our Bill of Rights, our Christian foundations are anathema to the teachings of Muhammad. So if you have so many countries, 50 countries, that's a fourth of the world's countries. Here are Islamic states and kingdoms. You could choose them. Countries with Islam as a state religion where it's illegal to be anything other than Muslim. Constitutionally secular Muslim majority states, or you could live in one of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation states. Fine. Okay. You can choose any of them. Why come here? That's a great question. Because For the first 230 years of American existence, there were statistically no Muslims in America. But because of a recent phenomenon of self-loathing and third world open borders migration, we have now seen a dramatic spike in the increase of Islam being practiced in America. In fact, there were 48 different mosques opened in Texas in the last 24 months. The demographics of our nation is changing quickly. If you don't believe me, go check in on Hamtramck or Dearborn, Michigan, which are majority Muslim
Yep, that's up by
towns
here.
now. And as soon as that happens,
2
the
hours.
entire town council and mayors go Muslim and never come back. And so people are starting to notice this. And a woman at an H-E-B grocery store in Texas is going viral because she was harassed by 2 women wearing hijabs and decided to say, we are a Christian country. We don't want Islam here.
You are wearing scrubs. You work out of here. You're really not welcome in this state or this country. You are wearing scrubs. You work with people. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you worship a terrorist who is a warlord, a pedophile, and Islam is a terrorist organization. Yeah, not a religion. Not educated. Not a religion. I'm very educated on this subject. No, because you're obviously not. You need to leave. You're not welcome here. We are welcome. This is not a Muslim country. This is a Christian country. Stop looking at her like that, please. You need to leave. You need to leave. You're not welcome here. We have citizenship here. You need to leave. You need to go back to your Islamic country where you came from. Okay? No. Everybody's aware of why you're here. No. Okay, so don't think that we don't know, and don't think you're going to get away with it. I'm pretty sure we're kind people, but you're not being kind, so you can get out of here. You're not welcome. And yeah, you should get the fuck out of here. You're really not welcome.
So something that I find remarkable is the Muslim women telling this heritage American Christian that she needs to get out of the country that her ancestors built, founded, settled, and maintained, fought, and died for. Now, you may disagree with the way that she speaks or says things, but what she's saying is empirically true in so much as this is a Christian nation, and there are populations and ideologies that are incompatible with our nation, and we are beginning to see don't assimilate. If Europe is a telltale canary in the coal mine here, they're in for a very rough ride because the Muslim populations that have been airdropped by the hundreds of millions on Europe will not assimilate, and they will create Islamic states. That's what they always do. That's what wars have been fought over for thousands of years between Christian and Muslim armies. They just decided to do it peacefully this time, and the front door was wide open. And so this is what this woman is saying. Well, she got fired. You're really not welcome in this. She got fired from her job for this. She worked at a massage parlor and holistic health and wellness center. And now she has almost $100,000 raised for her. Wow. $97,000. It went up just $2,000 in the last few minutes. $100,000. Stand with brave Texas healthcare worker Dasha, who's a healthcare worker who went viral confronting 2 female members of the hijab squad in an H-E-B grocery store in Conroe, Texas. She stood her ground. She says Islam is a terrorist organization. This isn't a Muslim country. She referenced Muhammad being a warlord and a pedophile. Muhammad married a 6-year-old. That's not like a slur or mean thing to say. It is something that Islamic scholars all effectively agree happened. Did happen. You can say different times, different strokes for different folks, but I'll take Christ saying, let the children come to me.
JJ.
Do not harm a hair on their heads.
Try to reach
You have to be innocent like these beautiful children to enter the kingdom of God. These are the teachings of Christianity, not to marry the children. And so I'm like, make of that what you will. But when she's saying that, that's what she's talking about. She is correct. This isn't a Muslim country. It's a Christian country. These people do not assimilate. Well, I mean,
A quick update, they're still after me, but my family is safe for now. I want to pass along this urgent message for anyone that missed it. Something big is happening to our country, and if all the red flags you're seeing...
Yes, in fact, they demand assimilation to their world. This is the Islamic
I watched
world.
that game.
These are very different laws and very different systems. And I don't care in so much as they don't bother me. I don't plan on moving to any of these countries. Believe that. And, you know, they can go live the way they want. It's none of my business, to be perfectly frank. I don't like this whole, like, we'll go liberate the world, be the world police thing. It hasn't worked. It didn't work out great in Afghanistan. It doesn't work out great anywhere. But Dasha Kilpatrick has gone viral because of this. And she was fired from her job. Now there's a give, send, go that is popping off. Look, watch this. Watch the number. There you go, 97,000. And let's go look at some of the donations. What do they say? The United States is a Christian nation. Any culture or religion that has no desire to become an American should not be allowed in our country. God bless you for your courage. Hope this helps. You did the right thing. Thank you for your bravery. As an ex-Muslim convert, I was threatened that I would be killed for leaving Islam. Muhammad said, whoever changes his Islamic religion, kill him. The modernist liars will whitewash the dangers of Islam. If you insult Muhammad, even repent, you must be killed, according to the Sunnis and Shia sects of Islam. Islam is a danger to humanity. I'm grateful for the hope you give. There's no such crime as hate speech. There's only freedom of association. Dasha did nothing wrong, standing with you. Well, that's exactly right. There's no such crime. Hate speech is not a crime. No such thing. She's saying her opinion, and a lot of people agree with her. She was canceled for daring to speak truth in her own country. Now she's dealing with lost income and threats, saying, I've never donated to Give, Send, Go campaign until today. There you go. Pick your neighbor. That's what people are saying. She said it's a terrorist organization. You're not welcome to the state or country. Islam is a terrorist organization. It's a political ideology, that's for sure. I stand with Dasha. This setup will happen more frequently. Stand up for Christianity and Western values. She lives in Conroe, Texas, and there are dozens of mosques in Conroe, Texas. You know, if you ever asked the question, has anybody ever asked the question, like, what does unlimited third world migration do for the United States of America when you have people that do not assimilate and come from backgrounds that are totally foreign or incompatible with us as a nation? We cover this a lot, but we say this, like, Somalia has the highest coefficient for inbreeding in the whole world. That's according to the United Nations. I'm just reading you the data. I don't want to live in a country with a bunch of inbreeding. I think that's immoral. I think that's gross. So why would I import that culture into my culture? Because I don't want that in my culture. I don't want child brides either. I don't want Sharia law. I don't want the stoning of anyone for anything. I don't want extrajudicial killings. I don't want honor killings. I don't want secret courts, and I don't want supremacist mosques. But you get all of that when you import the countries that practice those things and the cultures that practice those things. That's just a matter of fact. It's not even remotely concerning or offensive to say. It just is. And so it's a real question that we have to ask, about bringing in people that come from entirely different backgrounds from the European heritage stock that shares so much of the founding values and traditions of this nation. What is this country? And what do we want it to be in the future? Because the people of this nation will create the future. So who are the people today? Who are you bringing in right now? That tells you everything. Pray that we can lock in as a country and keep America, America. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe.
Hey, big video there. The second one I got.
Like many of us, I grew up in a 600 square foot home. Great life. Just didn't have
women. Women demand equality with men, but God says no, because I maketh you man and woman, and you're both different, and that's beautiful because you work harmlessly together in my kingdom. I made woman for man, and vice versa. But I don't believe in the Bible, bro. That's the book of Genesis. I don't believe in that, bro. Okay, fine. Do you believe in science? Because here's the science. The science proves that men and women are different. Men and women show average differences in a ton of traits driven by genetics and hormones and evolutionary pressure, stuff you can't ever change. Like men are taller and stronger, heavier, have better muscle mass, bone density, upper body strength. They have more fast twitch muscle fibers. Men have bigger hearts and lungs and higher hemoglobin than women. We're 40 to 50% stronger than women on average. Okay. Women often show better fatigue resistance and recovery in muscle context. Okay, cool. Obviously, a ton of other different characteristics. Men have thicker skin, literally and metaphorically. Different finger length ratios, cool. Cognitive differences. There are a ton of different cognitive differences between men and women. Spatial, visuospatial, men tend to outperform on mental rotation. Verbal, women have better verbal fluency. Men are better at math. Women are better at memory and perception. It's fine. It doesn't make anybody greater or lesser than. It just means that you can't treat them as equal. It means that if men have all these physical advantages over women, then you shouldn't be playing a man in a woman's sport. The cruelty of putting some mentally ill goblin out there to go beat up women. It's evil. And it also probably means that in extremely physical and demanding and high-stress jobs, you should be very cautious about who you're putting into those roles, no matter who they are. But you should certainly take under advisement some of the natural capacities and abilities of a man versus a woman in a ton of different jobs, like who's going to go down to the sewers and who's going to work these construction jobs and who's going to work the extremely scary mining jobs or oil rig jobs. There are just jobs where women are physically not strong enough. The average woman is absolutely not strong enough to do. Is policing one of those jobs? I don't know. That's what everyone's debating today on the internet. Montreal shooting leaves officer, civilian, and suspect dead. Okay, what happened? In Montreal, oh, I thought there was no gun crime in Canada. I thought Canada was so liberal. No one would ever be killed by a gun again. Police officer was shot dead in Montreal on Monday. It's horrible, tragedy. I'm not trying to make light of it. Saying that you create these gun-free zones and these gun-free societies, and this stuff keeps happening. It's actually better for everyone to be armed. A very peaceful and polite society is one where everyone's armed. Anyway, the local officer this is the first time a local officer was killed in the line of duty in a quarter of a century. A civilian was also killed, and another officer was injured. A male suspect was shot and killed right away. Montreal police chief said they believed to have acted alone. Shooting began a busy part of the city. Historically, a large Jewish population. A witness saw a gun sticking out of a window, heard shots, and called police. But here's what happened, man. An officer was shot dead by the gunman. That's fine. But then a bystander was shot dead by the police officer, a female police officer. Suspected gunman neutralized by authorities following a Monday shooting that left a police officer and a citizen dead. Here's the sad part about it, is that the citizen was, according to all available video, shot by the actual female police officer who was hiding and cowering for her life. Obviously a very stressful situation. She just watched her partner get shot. But then she got spooked by an innocent bystander inside of a cafe. And according to all available video, popped up and shot him. A female cop just executed a random bystander trying to get away from the shooter. And when the real shooter came, she fled, leaving 2 people dead because of her incompetence. What the hell are we even doing allowing female police officers? This is the commentary on the internet right now. And there's multiple video angles showing this happening. I'm not going to show the video right now. You can find it online. There's rules against graphic violence and death. But feel free to go look. I mean, you can find it here. Breaking 911. This is a really big account. It's got millions of followers. And you can find the video. The video captures so much wrong with modern era. White man has hit some sort of breaking point and he's shooting cops. Male cop was shot first. Girl cop completely useless. Bystander gets up to leave to get away from the from the danger, and the girl cop shoots him because she's jumpy and freaking out. The girl cop runs at the first opportunity, even though the shooter is closing in on her. This is, of course, purely visible in the actual footage. Entire time, Star Wars people are rambling in some foreign language. You're living through the collapse. You should start acting like it. Ugh. Female cop executes a bystander at point-blank range while trying to hide from a mass shooter. Countries that already banned most guns. What else can you say, really? It's all the facts that you really need here. It's a really tough look and a really sad situation. Obviously, female Montreal officer appears to have allegedly shot and killed a civilian during a shootout with a gunman. You can see it from multiple angles. It's really horrifying to see. And I mean, should you rethink based on the differences between men and women in certain roles, especially roles that are deadly? Woman shoots bystander trying to escape, immediately gets shot herself by the actual shooter as she's trying to flee. Women shouldn't be police officers, and it's honestly ridiculous that we've deluded ourselves into thinking they're suited for roles like this in society. Future generations are going to look back at us as insane ideologues who are unwilling to say the obvious because it violated progressive religious beliefs. That's exactly right. Our ancestors knew better, though. Horrifying footage of the attack in Montreal. Well, what is to be said here? Well, nothing more than what Sam Hyde has to say about this whole situation. Sam Hyde vindicated about female cops yet again. What an absolute S show.
The person who invented this cleaning product is so smart. No matter how dirty your oven is, it will instantly clean with zero scrubbing. Take any dirty surface, spray over the grease or mold.
2 minutes.
Female cop, male cop, the Parkland shooting, just remember that, the school shooting here in Florida. This is the kind of stuff that makes your blood boil, because these officers who won't engage and who run away, like, we pay them these handsome salaries, we train them, and then you put a gun in their hand and then you say, go get the bad guys, and they run from the danger. And then people get killed. In Parkland, it was a bunch of children. And they could have, that male cop could have stopped all the children from getting slaughtered. This female cop led to the death of an innocent civilian because of her jumpiness and being scared. And there are just some people that are not cut out for these professions. They are not brave. They are not strong. And I think it's okay that we say that. Here's Sam Hyde saying exactly that.
If you ever catch the eye of a female cop, hope you wore your bulletproof vest. Hope you got your vest on, man. I'm praying for you, unironically. You ever catch the eye of a female cop? Man, I hope you wore your vest. And I am praying for you, because that gun on her waist at some point is going to accidentally go off. Okay? She's going to draw it out thinking it's a taser. She's going to have her finger on the trigger before she's ready to fire. She's going to do this because you didn't put your hands up fast enough or whatever. Something you did made her feel threatened. You're taller than her. She feels threatened for her life. She's a female. The only recourse she has physically is to shoot you. And I just hope that if you ever get pulled over by a woman, you're wearing a fucking bulletproof vest and a Kevlar helmet.
Wow. Nasty remark there, huh, you guys? Nasty one. So I got a 5-minute Earth science, whatever you call it.
kilometers per hour. How does anything launch from it and still escape into space? The answer is not brute force. It is physics. Because rockets do not escape Earth by simply going straight up.
Today,
They
JJ.
escape by turning Earth's spin, gravity, and sideways speed into a path that does not fall back down. Think about it. Before a rocket even leaves the launch pad, it is already moving. The ground, the air around it, the rocket, the fuel, and everything inside are rotating together with Earth. So when the engines ignite, the rocket is not starting from zero. It is already riding a moving planet. That is why many rockets launch eastward. Near the equator, Earth's rotation gives a spacecraft an eastward speed boost of over 1,600 kilometers per hour. But that free push is only a small part of the story. To reach orbit, a spacecraft needs far more speed. For low Earth orbit, the target is roughly 28,000 kilometers per hour. And this is where the real physics begins. Going up is not enough. A rocket can fly straight up, cross the edge of space, and still fall back down. That is not orbit. That is just a very high jump. Orbit happens when the spacecraft moves sideways so fast that as gravity pulls it down, Earth curves away beneath it. It is falling, but it keeps missing the ground. That is why rockets go sideways. At the beginning, a rocket rises almost vertically because the lower atmosphere is thick. If it tried to go sideways immediately, it would waste energy fighting dense air and create dangerous stress on the vehicle. So first, it climbs. Then, as the air thins, the rocket gradually tilts. This curved path is part of what engineers call a gravity turn. The rocket slowly turns from vertical flight into horizontal flight, using careful guidance and gravity to shape the path. By the time it reaches orbital altitude, the goal is no longer just height. The real goal is velocity. That is why a rocket's path curves instead of shooting straight like an arrow. It is not trying to escape Earth's spin. It is trying to build enough horizontal speed to become an object in orbit. Now, here is the deeper part. Gravity does not suddenly disappear in space. Astronauts are not floating because there is no gravity. They float because the spacecraft, the astronauts, and everything inside are falling around Earth together. Even the International Space Station is still under Earth's gravity. But because it is moving sideways at about 17,500 miles per hour, it keeps falling around the planet instead of falling into it. That is orbit, not floating, not escaping gravity. A continuous fall around a curved Earth. To leave Earth completely, a spacecraft needs even more energy. Escape speed from near Earth is about 11.2 kilometers per second. But rockets usually do not do that in one simple straight shot. They use stages. They burn fuel. They drop dead weight. Some missions enter orbit first, then fire again to head toward the Moon, Mars, or beyond. This is why rockets are mostly fuel. They are not just lifting a spacecraft. They are lifting the fuel needed to lift more fuel while fighting gravity, drag, and time. So when people ask, how does a rocket escape a spinning Earth? The answer is, the spin is not the enemy. The spin is part of the launch. Earth gives the rocket a small sideways head start. The rocket engines add massive thrust, gravity bends the path, and horizontal speed turns falling into orbit. So rockets go sideways because space is not the real achievement. Orbit is. Height gets you above the atmosphere. Speed keeps you from coming back. And if you add even more speed, you can finally leave Earth behind. So next time you see a rocket curve across the sky, remember, it is not losing control. It is not being dragged by Earth's spin. It is doing exactly what physics demands. It is going sideways fast enough for Earth to keep curving away beneath it. Now tell me this in the comments. If orbit is really falling around Earth, should we call spacecraft flying or falling forever? Follow for more space science explained without the...
I hope that was okay for everybody to learn on that. Okay, the next two is a two-parter, 5 minutes, and then I'll play that 20-minute Mark Z one. Anybody see these clips yet?
And in that article, it admits that the Philadelphia Police Department has been properly instructed to highly surveil anybody online opposing artificial intelligence. I'm not saying it's happening in New Jersey, but what I'm saying is we have concrete data that shows that these people are being told, watch these people on social media, watch for them in your town, et cetera, et cetera. So if there's people in the room who maybe feel like they've been followed or they keep seeing the same people everywhere, or the vice chairman of the Union County Planning Board is pointing at you and saying what town you live in when you've never mentioned it in this room, just keep your head on a swivel, because I would hate for anybody in here to be being surveilled for using what I believe, unless I'm wrong, is your First Amendment right? Yeah. So
This isn't Philadelphia, that's why.
I'm trying, I'm sorry. So MIT did a study over 4 months. They had one group of people who used generative artificial intelligence to write essays, do research. One group used ChatGPT, one group used the library and regular Google, because just so everybody knows, you don't need to use artificial intelligence integrated into your browser. You can get DuckDuckGo, no AI. It's a little old, but it works, right? So you don't have to have artificial intelligence. This is the group after 4 months that used no ChatGPT, no generative AI, no artificial intelligence. See all that activity, the brain moving around, neural connectivity, good thing, right? No Siri, Alexa. 4 months of ChatGPT. You see the problem? The brain's not connected right. Neural connectivity is down 47% in 4 months. So just a theory. If the people in this room, most of us, don't use AI, and that's closer to our brain, and people up here are very pro-AI, and this is closer to your brain, maybe that's why we have more questions, because our brains are literally functioning. Just a thought. Okay. What is currently, thank you, Mr. Weber. What is currently occurring at the Nest 11 building? Site prep, demo, or construction? Site prep, demo, or construction?
You literally told us we can't think 1 second ago.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
You literally said that. And I gotta say, anybody resisting AI, you're in for a world of hurt in the business community.
So, okay, thank you. No, thank you, Mr. Morrow. I'm talking.
It's like not using the internet.
So, Mr. Morrow.
Let's have the debate.
I didn't really want to, delve in, but whatever, I guess I will. On the October 15, 2025 meeting, when Mike Terlizzi was here and he was proposing more about the water going through all the cooling servers and all that stuff, right? Mr. Morrow asked a question along the lines, I don't want to misquote you, but tech moves fast. Like, what happens if this all goes away? Like, what can you do with this area? And the answer was, it can be leased out to other places that need to store data, like very large corporations, possibly the way it happens in a lot of other areas, right? Like, I'm not misquoting.
I don't even remember.
You don't recall? Okay.
As a year ago, where was AI a year ago to where it is now? We've seen major advancements.
I'm not. Yeah,
major advancements. In fact, we saw a whole war get fought with AI just in Iran.
Not a good pull, I don't think.
It's a major advancement. You can like it or not. You can't resist it. It's holding your hand up to stop a wave. It's not how it works. Would you stop screaming out? I'm sorry. It is not your time. Have some decorum. You can leave if you don't like how this works.
I'm just trying to ask for the record. It's not like I really am not being argumentative with you. Like
I'm talking to the woman who keeps interrupting.
Right, but
I'm sorry.
I'm up
Miss
here.
Pano, I'm sorry.
I'm up here. I'm not. Okay. I don't know why you're acknowledging that.
I just did
the
acknowledge
position, senior vice president. Ooh.
You keep.
If nobody saw the interest.
Hey, this is part 2 coming up, you guys. This is wild, Lucy. Out of Pennsylvania.
In the business community.
So, okay, thank you. No, thank you, Mr. Morrow. I'm talking.
It's like not using the internet.
So, Mr. Morrow.
A year ago, where was AI? A year ago, to where it is now, we've seen major
I'm not. Yeah,
major advancements. In fact, we saw a whole war get fought with AI just in Iran.
Not a good poll, I don't think.
It's a major advancement. You can like it or not. You can't resist it. It's holding your hand up to stop a wave. It's not how it works. Would you stop screaming out? I'm sorry. It is not your time. Have some decorum.
Let's have respect, please.
Tell them to stop lying, please.
You can leave if you don't like how this works.
Does CoreWeave have like insurance yet? Not like builder risk and stuff like that, but like for when it's finalized and everything, like normal risk insurance and things like that. Are we aware of that, or are you not? You might not be sure because it's not finished. I don't know. Like, do they have some form of insurance that is past builder risk and like construction, all that type of stuff? Like for the corporation stuff. Anybody?
It's a major corporation. I think we should assume they have risk managers as well.
Yeah.
It's a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
I'm just trying to ask for the record. It's not like I really am not being argumentative with you. Like
I'm talking to the woman who keeps interrupting.
Right, but
I'm sorry.
I'm up
Miss
here.
Pano, I'm sorry.
I'm up here. I'm not. I don't know why you're acknowledging that.
I just did
the
acknowledge
position, senior vice president. Ooh.
You keep telling
senior vice president at Verisk in Jersey City, right? Is that correct? I don't want to be wrong.
My personal life. Go ahead.
I'm not looking at personal life. It's so public. I literally do one DuckDuckGo, no AI search, and you can find it. So all I'm asking is, can you very briefly just explain what that position entails? Is it analyzing risk for companies to then have, or is it analyzing risk for insurance companies themselves? Like I know you guys cover for State Farm and things like that. Like do you do insurance for companies?
I work for another public company.
I know.
They work. There's thousands of employees. You're citing customers. I don't.
But you're the
even
senior
deal
vice
with.
president of the commercial lines, right?
Of many different areas of this company. Yes, I am a senior vice president of one.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Have you ever been to the Nest 11 building as of May 15th, 2025, Mayor?
Nope.
Is anybody up here aware of any of the conditions currently of the Nest 11 building as of today, 2026? Is there any unions or anybody at all working in the cellar or the Nest 11 building currently? Okay, so I'll tell you. May 29th, cellar shut down. No more basement work. Nobody knows about this? No? No. Does anybody know about the Legionnaire's disease? Confirmed cases of Legionnaire's disease in the Nest 11 building from workers? Sepsis, 2 to 3 respiratory illnesses every month where people are being hospitalized? Nothing? No? Okay. I'm just going to read this text from somebody that unfortunately has to work in this building. It made me really concerned. My friend was in the hospital after 2 weeks and he's still at home recovering. Most people are so ignorant because they keep saying that people getting sick have these underlying conditions, but everybody in that job that's getting sick is getting the same type of upper respiratory infection and being hospitalized. They didn't have underlying conditions, but they're trying to put this blame on the people because they don't want to make it look like CoreWeave or possibly the general contractor.
On this subject here, my opinion, why are they not telling the truth? That lady that was screaming out there was right. They're not even answering the question.
Has anything to do with this? The building is making them sick. I don't know what it is, but this building is a bad, evil building, and it's got something very evil in it that's making everybody sick. So if you guys are not aware, I don't know if I'm just not being told, but if you're not aware of the conditions currently at this facility and it's not even close to being done allegedly, you should really have contact because there are OSHA reports.
Is this something that has to do that left over from the Shark Plow murder?
No.
Well, Legionnaire's, yeah, it's a vat of water. That's where the disease develops, right? So this would have been developing long before Onyx and CoreWeave got
Right,
there.
but my thing is to allow a new company to come in and start working, maybe we should try to bridge that gap or like solve it a little
It's an
bit.
industrial site. We've been trying to say that for meetings now. That's what happens at industrial sites. And this is Legionnaire's disease, you said? That literally happens inside of water. So this is, you said flooding, with the conditions would make sense.
Right.
It's naturally forming too, isn't it? It's not like it was put there.
I can email it to you, Mayor. I have the evidence of it. No, all right.
I don't think it's so uncommon to find Legionnaires, right? That happens from the water cooling towers. It happens on the cruise ships, right?
No, it's just a concern that if it is possibly coming from who is now in charge of that vicinity, that there should be some control, or don't just close the basement down and let OSHA come out.
We have a Department of Health and OSHA. This happens
They've been contacted.
everywhere,
Yeah,
right?
I know.
mean, this isn't.
I think unfortunately a lot of the things have been kind of cut
It's
down.
not unique to even Shearing or Merck or the data center. So I guess I hear your point. There's things going on at the site, current construction, and I guess we're dealing with what happens at construction sites.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, Council President.
I gotta say.
All right, that was a wild one there. Yeah. Agree on that. Good. So I'm gonna play the 120-minute one. John Downing. I don't know if you listen to Mark Z, but I listen to John Downing. That has Mark Z on.
Do a good, insightful, meaty discussion of the very important and critical questions we're all going to want to know. So we'll get to that in a minute. If you're new to the podcast, well, thanks for watching, first of all. If you are new to the podcast, though, please do like, subscribe, and share. Helps the channel grow and others to gain in the knowledge you're currently being afforded. As you all know, Mark Z has been around this movement for quite a while. Father, happy belated Father's Day to him and all great fathers out there as well, of which I look forward to being one down the road in the not too distant future in God's perfect timing, which Mark was all too happy to needle me about, which is fine. I appreciate the support. He's also been an avid podcaster, business owner, and I'll call him a provocateur of all things financial reset related, if that's the right word. And I'm pleased and honored to have him back on once again. How are you doing today, good brother?
I'm great, and we too, myself. So many are just ready for you to have that perfect partner in life, and we're just excited for you and what it might mean down the road. So, in God's timing.
I appreciate that sincerely. I really do. I'm very grateful and humbled. So, thank you for that. Okay, I know people didn't want to tune in for all that, but they had to get to the meaty stuff. So I'm going to pull up a slide here, Mark. I've got 5 critical questions because you have really good research, and I want to make the most of it. So I've got 5 key things. I'm going to start with this first slide here. And as you can see, you probably know all this, but let's go through it anyway for the folks, for posterity. Per Google today on X source, Al-Sabah, Al-Zaidi decides to not run in the upcoming elections, will not run for any political party, which is interesting because he's one of the people being orchestrated to make the reset happen. So my first question is, where's Mark Sabaya? Is he going to be coming in when Al-Zaidi goes out? And when are the upcoming elections?
That's a good question because I don't know when the upcoming elections. I know we've got the upcoming committee ones, but what I was told from Iraq was that he did not want to be part of a party. He wanted to be above all the different frameworks, parties, and grow. So a lot of static that they may be changing their political system in Iraq along with the reset. And honestly, I'm still diving in to try to figure out what that means. They're trying to reduce the power of, especially like the Shiite end of it. They're trying to make it for all of the Iraqi people, so you don't have one like dominant branch or wing. And it's always historically been, of course, the Shiite Sunnis always fighting, and they're trying to make this about direction they want their country to go in instead of their favorite cleric.
Exactly, and you've got to satisfy the Kurdistan faction, which is the dominating faction with the oil revenues at the same time, which they are now finally addressing with Nasir Nassar, which we reported last week, finally a non-corrupt central bank governor after 17 years, 17, when you know.
That was huge.
Oh, massive. And now on the backs of that, a nice segue, you probably know. Obviously, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but now the project to delete the 3 zeros is now in tow, which is a fundamental difference, folks, as you know, Mark, between deleting the 3 zeros, which would essentially be a LOP, and retiring the currency. That's not what they're doing. They're doing a project to delete 3 zeros, which means you have to have all the laws passed in place, HCL, taxes and tariffs, small notes and coins, blah, blah, blah. That's a very coordinated effort that would be in a godly RV to return to the international stage. So briefly talk to the audience about the importance of the project to delete 3 zeros and why now.
Oh, one, it's common conversation in Iraq now, so much to the point where the CBI even came out last week and said, hey, you know, we're not doing that yet. We're focusing on the stable part, which means it's really become, today they dropped 2 more articles saying, no, not yet. But then the CBI came out and said, well, yes, we're going to adopt a new approach where we're going to be far more flexible for when we need a rate change. So we're getting like competing narratives, which absolutely reminds me of what we saw in the days leading up to Kuwait. I mean, heck, the morning of, we had a statement in the paper saying they were not going to do that yet. And later that same day, which to me is like huge, but that it is an open conversation with parliamentary ministers, with different committees, with the banks, with the CBI, with the people, the merchants. Tells you there's a lot more going. They're doing their best to keep a lid on this thing, but they're having that open conversation. And I keep hearing the absolute worst is a rear of about $1.
Well, I'm going to show you something in a minute. I
don't think that's going to be it, John, before people start jumping from the bridge. I don't think that's going to be it at all. I think it's going to be better than that, but
it's way better than that. But again, you have to start at a starting point, which we'll get to in a moment. Before I show that article, there's another discussion point, Mark, of question 3 to you, which is, excuse me. So as this comes of age, we're hearing that Iraq is planning to come to the U.S. with President Trump to give it his official blessing, because, you know, he wants to put his name and moniker on this whole thing, moniker on it. And so we're looking at, I guess, the middle of July. You know, my guess would be the 15th for some reason. I could be wrong, but somewhere in that vicinity for that to happen. Meanwhile, Maliki, who's been very covert, probably going to pop his ugly head out of the whack-a-mole. Do our U.S. Marines go out and take them out with extreme prejudice, in your opinion, when that happens?
I think if that happens, it's going to be so quiet. We're not going to hear about it. Well, I take that back. You and I might hear about it, some people that really follow this, but I think the overall population won't hear much of anything. I expect when Zaidi makes his U.S. visit, it's going to just be the victory lap and the celebration end of it. I think we'll be done before he gets here is what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I think they're gonna get this wrapped up within Parliament by the end of this month, which essentially is just another week plus, and then they're going to have it set the table for July, as President Trump's coming out with his currency with his name on it July 1st, and then sets the stage after the 4th for them to come. I totally agree with you. Now, to that article we promised, this is yesterday. You probably saw it from Majid. Urgent and exclusive for all Iraqi people. Steps government we just talked about expects the following. Government, what did we just talk about? We'll remove the 3 zeros, but not a LOP, a project. The dollar exchange rate will be adjusted to 160 dinars. I don't know if you noticed, Mark, but they've downticked from 130 trillion dinars to 118. So it's a fairly significant drop, which tells me that they're not borrowing anymore from the dollar, which means they're going to have to power up their own currency. Very significant. And with both the dinar level being raised, the budget being eased, we just talked about 25%. Currency will be printed after the positive change. If they make the exchange 1600 IQD to $1, you're saying, delete the 3 zeros, that means the exchange rate would be 62 cents. Now, here's the key part, folks. Don't react yet. Let's think critically. Mark, you know the answer to this? Who's going to be the first group of people that buys at this small rate?
That's actually a really good question for people here to grab hold of. Who buys that one? Who dumps at that one? Is it banks? Is it local merchants? Is it us? Is it people that are just desperate? Because I definitely believe the rate's going to be higher. But you have to ask yourself, who's going to be the first to jump on that rate? What are your thoughts on that one?
Thanks for setting up the softball. What about the whales, the millionaires and billionaires that they always give privilege to? They did it with gold and silver. They did it with XRP. They do it with bonds.
You guys okay with this one?
Before it comes up. They buy it up. And as I explained in my report last Friday, I don't know if you saw, that's good for us as consumers, retail side, because that creates a natural supply and demand, which will bring it up. Coupled with the fact that the banks need this currency from us, we finally have leverage for a change, which will bring the new digital quantum system that they want to come in. In order to do that, they have to get something from us. And to do that, they have to drive up the rate to be highly attractive. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Cool. So that's my thought.
Yep.
Whales.
Yeah, if they're going to hit them with that, they've got them do them before the real reset. Although many of those big groups, they're going to take it. They got so much in it. They're going to take it, smile, walk away, and they'll be totally okay if us littler people make a little more money.
Yeah, but absolutely. But what I want the audience, and you want the audience to hear, the critical point, folks, is that's the starting lowball rate. That doesn't mean that's what you're going to get at its zenith. That's the teaser to get it going, and then once it gets into the system bank-wise, it's going to naturally float, and we'll have to see how high it is. But it also proves it'll be a godly RV and not a corrupt RV, because if we're corrupt with the Iranian proxies, it wouldn't even be anywhere near where it's going to be. So that's another sign to me of encouragement. Point 4 I wanted to talk to you about is sort of everything kind of connects. We're dealing with the FIFA World Cup. You noticed a week ago, Iraq was in the mix, the country in the soccer realm. Well, who's in the final 16? U.S. and Iran. What a coincidence. So if you don't think sports is fixed, then how come you're seeing all these things converge? So I want to get your take on that.
All right. One, has anybody done the math? The way the brackets, the way it's all lining up right now, U.S. and England advance, we'd be playing on July 4th.
Can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up.
You can't make it up.
Okay, thanks. Good point, Mark. Very good. Fifth point, and this is probably just as important, I would say, if not more than Maliki, because like you said, it'll be quietly and covertly dealt with, meaning Maliki. Israel sitting on the sidelines, because this peace deal has nothing to do with them. So they're free agents ostensibly. So it's been foretold by the late great Kim Clement about the grave Israeli mistake, right? How soon, in your opinion, do you see, once the peace deal is out, once Iraq comes to the international stage next month, where does Israel factor in with hitting the Bashar power plants time-wise?
The more I look at that one, the more, because Israel feels absolutely abandoned by the U.S., whether that's rightful or wrongful or whatever. They believe it was a complete and utter failure, and they want to start something back. My guess is third week of July. What do you think on your timing? I don't think they can make it to August.
No, I don't think honestly, I don't even think it'll take that long. My sense of things, or our team's sense of things, more importantly, is let's break this down like an elephant, a piece at a time. Once they get their parliament done and get all the laws in place by the end of the month, before July 1st, which is what sort of their edict is, I would see Maliki coming out around that time, being dealt with the U.S. Marines, finally. And then I would say probably right after the 4th, I could see Israel attacking. Maybe that first week, 6 or something like that. It'll last about a week. Then Iraq will come to the U.S. after the aftermath, do the international stage announcement. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I can see that one. That would make sense to me as well.
We'll have to see, to see how it all plays out. And then the last sort of addendum point that's been a sticking thing, is President Trump running Israel, or is Israel running the U.S.?
I think we just separated from that one. I think Israel was largely running the U.S. To the point of alarmingly so, but I think those ties have been severed over the last couple of weeks. And I think that's where you see that, Israel getting mad and trying to attack. But I think the world will condemn them very quickly on that front. Or when I say that, I'm not referring to the Israeli people, guys. I'm referring to a rogue Israeli government. Which is a very, very important distinction.
Yeah, the state of Israel, essentially, the Kassarian mafia and all the usual suspects. Yeah.
Just like we talk about the evil U.S. government and all their wrongs in the past, that happens all around the world. It's not uniquely, it's not easy enough to say, oh, bad government, evil.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. Thank you for that. I'm just making a note of that. And then one other quick question for you, just to chop it up real quick, is It's sort of the elephant in the room, so I've got to talk about it, and that's, of course, Zimbabwe. Chamisa's still in the background. You see him with U.S. flags. You see him talking about Zimbabwe being a constitutional republic. We already know the extolled virtues of how much copious amounts of gold and diamonds and all the other natural rare earth minerals that they've had replete for many, many years. Is Zimbabwe waiting for, in your research and estimation, for the October elections? Because that's a question I get a lot, to come back internationally, or do you see it happening sooner than that?
I still see them happening sooner than that one. I mean, we look at some of the prices, some of the things have been pegged, what we might be able to expect out of silver and gold later next month. They really need to do that before they establish those values or peg it, because there's a great chance that we may have a currency or a pegged gold value very early in July, or maybe even as soon as July 1st. I don't see how Zimbabwe can wait until their election in October unless everything waits, and I do not see that happening.
I agree. I'm glad you said that. That's a good point. And I don't know if you saw, I know you're busy, but I don't know if you happened to catch my show with our mutual friends, Noble Gold, Micah. He had leaked out to me the day prior to the recording that the U.S. Mint has revealed that the new value for an ounce of gold is 18,600 and an ounce of silver 1,500. So did they sort of leak the mint tied to the Treasury that President Trump is going to revalue the gold by the 4th? Do you agree with that, or do you see a different timeline?
I very much agree with that early in, and that's why I made that point about Zimbabwe. I mean, that to me is an enormous tell for us, because they're not going to, I mean, there's always been a bit of a premium between, let's say, a golden American eagle or a silver eagle over top of just a stamped round, same weight. It's always been a premium, but not that much of a premium. We'd be talking about a, 400 or 500x premium for those prices. And why'd they put it up there? Now, of course, then they ended up pulling it down. But at the Mint, millions of people saw that, or at least arguably hundreds of thousands saw those pricing up and made the same conclusion that you and I did. And if they're going to peg the value, these countries have got to go. The countries that are wealthy in those mineral assets need to go ahead and go, or it's going to throw the math off.
100%. And to your point, though that gold revaluation on the backs of talking about Zimbabwe has huge impacts for them. Well, for us, but more importantly for them, Iraq, et cetera, with regards to the Zim bonds, because on a personal note, it's been a little perplexing to me. There's some really great truthers, podcasters out there who do a lot of extensive research on, a number of subjects, which is great. But this has become a sticking point for some because they fundamentally believe, for whatever reason, that the Zim bonds are not going to go out of circulation or no good, not realizing that the Pentagon already backed them by gold years ago, not oil, and rail is going to snap to the ZIG dollar and the ZIG digital coin. They can't seem to make that connection. How do you reconcile that point?
I'm still trying to reconcile that one, because I was told that the Zim bonds were going to be treated almost like a prosperity package for humanitarian funds that have gone unclaimed because this has taken longer. So I'm still trying to make that work. For me in my brain, the thing that makes the most sense is they treat it that way, and then the currency is treated as an actual revaluation based on their assets, which means it's like a double win. It's like, which one do you hold? Do you hold the old Zim bonds that the U.S. government did indeed back? I mean, there's a lot of paperwork there to chase that one over or out for people that want to do the deep dive or the research. To me, what makes more sense is they handle that one separately from the currency itself or the ZIG.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Well, as I say, yeah, and the wealth management centers that we're going to go to already have a department for that, which will treat it separately than the currencies. I can tell you in, talking to private bankers and wealth managers on this back in California, all sort of corroborated that. But I think people are going to be shocked. Just as to your point, the wins, again, the government, our Treasury, to be precise, for years has been planning this with Zimbabwe. You're going to be amazed at how valuable those bonds are going to be for both personal and humanitarian kingdom, whatever you want to call it, human projects that people have on their hearts to do. It's going to be wins across the board, but they are not worthless like some people have convinced themselves they are. They're really not.
No, if they need a place to dispose of them, just send them to John and I.
We should all be so lucky. But that would just give us more to help others, and we would just be
Yes.
conduits to help others, as you know. But I just, my point is, I think people are going to be surprised what they've been told is not going to line up in the end. It's not about making people trillionaires or this or that. It's just the point is that things are not always as they seem. I think we're going to be surprised how we see this go sideways if as we trust God in a very positive light. So thanks, Mark, for the fast and deep discussion. Anything else that you would like to share that's on your heart?
All right. I don't normally play Mark's Day, but I was playing it for a shout out to John Downing for crediting that interview there. Okay, and I got a new update. Benny Johnson has a Tucker Carlson major announcement that just came out. Oh, I got a 14-minute Samsung electronic update one. I don't know how many people got Samsung.
Smile back. Oh, how the turntables turn. There was a time when Tucker had just been fired from Fox News and Donald Trump was skipping a debate on Fox News, and they both turned to each other and delivered one of the most watched interviews in the history of the internet with 270 million views. Tucker and Trump together.
Night, but we're not. I hate that. Stinks.
For that epic intro.
Mr. President, thanks for joining us.
This is why we can't have nice things. It makes me sad because now they've both turned on each other, and that's too bad. And I wish the coalition could stay together because Tucker looks great in a giant foam MAGA hat. He looks like he's having the time of his damn life here with Trump. Soon after President Trump getting sworn into office in Elon Musk. What a timeline. Doesn't seem real. Here's Tucker in the Oval Office wearing a gigantic foam MAGA hat, comically sized. My goodness. Here's Tucker and Trump howling with laughter. Tucker Carlson doing that expression that, well, can't be trained, right? And then, well, it all went away. Especially after the Iran war popped off. Tucker Carlson started getting spied on by the CIA when you discover the CIA has been reading your text in order to frame you for a crime. I don't know. Things got toxic quickly. I don't even know what's true and what's not. President Trump has obviously attacked Tucker Carlson on Truth Social and also in the press. Tucker has lost his way. I knew that a long time ago. MAGA is about saving our country. MAGA is about making our country great again. Tucker's none of those things. Tucker's not smart enough to understand that. This is like the classic back and forth with not just Tucker, but of course, MTG saying she's leaving the Republican Party. I don't want to be part of the right anymore, says Dog the Bounty Hunter. There's a new lane forming, made up of people from the right and the left, fed up with both parties, says MTG, who refuses to respond to my question. Is she forming a new party with Ilhan Omar? Because Ilhan Omar says that we have a responsibility to accept MTG into the new left. And you know that's how it always works, right? The left gets all the power and we get nothing. That is how it always works. Hunter Biden, by the way, repeating the exact same talking points. Isn't that unique? New York. So when you're on the same side as Ilhan Omar and Hunter Biden in your talking points, you have some real problems. I still can't believe this is real. Ilhan Omar saying we need to embrace MTG with open arms. We have a responsibility to do that. Okay. Kind of like how MTG embraced Code Pink terrorists in her office. Those ladies are now under indictment by the DOJ, I think, for going to Cuba and connecting with a terror state. Anyway, is there something else happening here? I don't know, because Tucker Carlson just made a massive announcement, sort of aligned with MTG, that he's leaving the Republican Party as well. And at that exact same time, Tucker Carlson's probability here spiking for whether he could potentially be the Republican nominee. Well, that's interesting. Tucker Carlson leaves the Republican Party. I'm out, says Tucker. He's done with the GOP. And Tucker is, well, got 40 years of broadcast experience. 30 years of broadcast experience. Worked for every network. Is able to summarize his thoughts and to communicate them and to make his own argument. And so here, ladies and gentlemen, is Tucker Carlson's argument as to why he's leaving the Republican Party.
I would not support the Republican Party. There's no chance I would support the Republican Party. I'm not going to support the Democratic Party. I don't know what I'm going to do. But at this point,
Every time I play Tucker, they give me a warning. So I fast forward it.
And the reason why I think it's sad is because there is a political reality in this country. You can see here Tucker Carlson at 7% polling for the presidency. There's a political reality in this country. I didn't make the rules, but it is a two-party country and a two-party system. And it's run by an enormous amount of money and interests to keep it that way. And I'm not one to admit defeat, but I am one to admit political realities. And the political realities is that we have one team or the other. And every time that you are fighting against the Republican Party, you're fighting for the left. And unfortunately, in politics, if you wish to actually make a change or you wish to accomplish something, you must choose the lesser of two evils, because our political systems are created by men. Men are fallible and often evil and are flawed horribly. And because we live inside of those systems, and we always have, you have to do your best within the system where you can actually accomplish the most. Electing Kamala Harris in 2024 would not have done any good for our nation. And to say that it would have, or that you wish it had been Kamala, is disconnected entirely with reality. If you agree with the precepts of America first, Western civilization, order, cleanliness, Christendom, sanity, then no, we shouldn't be mutilating children. We shouldn't be opening our borders. No, we should be stopping DEI programs and obscene anti-white bigotry and racism. And yes, we should be defunding USAID and cracking down on the obscene amount of crime in this nation, and we should bring back mass incarceration and more executions. And yes, we should have law and order once more. And yes, America should be a hegemony of power that is an empire in our own hemisphere that can project power and keep us safe. And no, I don't agree with everything that the administration's done, and I've made that very clear on this channel. I'm very frustrated with the way they handled Epstein and the Iran war. I don't like high gas prices. I don't like being lied to. But men are weak and men are flawed.
What if the next ad on TV was yours? It can be.
But there is a lesser of two evils always in this political realm, and you have to choose the one that is going to accomplish or have the opportunity to accomplish the best for your children. And you have to ask the question, what country do you want your children to live in? And I've made my choice. I have little children under roof. They're not adults yet. I find that oftentimes the thing that separates someone from this reality is hyper focus on one singular issue. Almost getting hypnotized by one issue or one foreign nation, and not having anything to fight for. Like, I have little kids that I am completely responsible for the country that I leave them. And they're little and they're innocent and they're totally helpless right now. And so I have to fight the best that I can with the tools that I got in order to fix this country, because it's all I got. It's all I have. So I have to fight within the Republican Party and the Trump administration. And I love so many things that the Trump administration has done. Like a brother and a friend, I push in good faith in order to fix the things that I disagree with. But I stay within the party. I stay within the conversation by realizing that joining with the other side or attacking my side or just bowing out and blackpilling everyone only helps the people that want the destruction of my children and my nation, which the left does. It's been demonstrated. And so that's where my heart is. That's why I won't be crashing out. I won't be leaving. And I won't be throwing temper tantrums about it. You know, it's fashionable to do that. You get a lot of headlines, but I'm not going to do it. I have too much to lose. Some people don't. Some people are already rich forever. They've already got theirs. They've already, have a pile of cash and money and sit on a throne of gold. And that's great for them. Not a jealous person. I don't care. But I still have to fight for my children's future. Nothing is secure. And I wish more people thought like that. I think it's a clarifying thing. And it makes the decision for me very easy. So we're going to keep fighting for America first. And we care about you, and we thank you for watching this channel and helping us in that fight. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See you.
Hey, that was one that he just came out with. So I got 2 5-minute ones and a 3-minute one, R&R and the Wired channel. So we'll do the 2 5-minute ones.
Precedence is routine. Information Office 2200. Bottom line up front. Terrorist attack reported in Montreal as a shooter conducts multiple engagements throughout residential neighborhood. Keir Starmer resigns as prime minister. Situation in Lebanon remains tenuous as Israelis refuse to halt attacks. Stabbing attack reported in Scotland. Beginning with international events, in Qatar last night an industrial accident was reported at one of the main natural gas terminals in Ras Laffan, which was in the process of being restarted to resume production after the war. The Qataris claimed that this was not the direct result of combat action. However, the incident killed a total of 13 people and injured roughly 50 others. In the United Kingdom this morning, Keir Starmer resigned as Prime Minister. This resignation is not immediate and is expected to result in some form of leadership contest later on. Analysts comment. Andy Burnham is likely to be his replacement, but this process will take a few months to develop as the formalized party efforts to select their new PM continue over the next few weeks. In Scotland, over the weekend, a stabbing attack was reported in Edinburgh. One assailant attempted to conduct a stabbing on Leith Walk near a row of shops and businesses. Initial reports claimed a total of 5 people were wounded during this attack, but this remains unconfirmed at this time. Analysts comment. Due to the nature of this attack, the media coverage has been extensive, although very few details are known regarding how the attack began. Of note, several photos appearing to be AI generated have circulated following this attack, so it is challenging to determine which photos are real and which are AI enhanced. More details will undoubtedly come in due time, which may clarify what actually happened. In Canada this afternoon, a shooting was reported in Montreal as one assailant attempted to conduct a mass shooting in the vicinity of the Côte-de-Neige neighborhood. One gunman equipped with an SKS-type rifle and web gear began the attack by engaging police along one of the streets of this community. Eventually, the skirmish transitions to the Westbury Supermarché PA at the north end of Avenue des Courtrai, with the shooter taking up a position inside the supermarket. As police advanced on this location and began breaching the supermarket, the shooter egressed 2 blocks to the southwest, where the shooter made contact with the police cordon at the corner of Avenue des Courtrai and de Carré Boulevard. At this location, a close-range small arms engagement broke out between the shooter and 2 officers, which resulted in one officer being killed in action. During the fray, the other officer accidentally shot a bystander who was attempting to seek a cover from the shooter. After shooting the civilian, the officer broke contact and maneuvered to a different position away from the shooter, and in doing so was shot in the back. A few moments later, the shooter was neutralized by other officers who were maneuvering south down Courtrai Avenue from the grocery store. Analysts comment. The circumstances of how the shooting began are unclear. The initial footage of the incident begins at the grocery store. However, SWAT was already chasing someone on foot in the residential neighborhood several blocks to the east of the shooting site. Also, the only victims of the shooting so far appear to be the officer that was shot by the suspect and the civilian that was erroneously shot by police. The reasoning for why police and especially tactical units such as SWAT were already on the scene is possibly due to the shooter sending his manifesto to media groups before the attack began. More details are expected overnight as the shooter's identity and the sequence of events become more clear. Analyst comments for this wire. In the Middle East, the status of the tentative peace deal remains uncertain, but in Switzerland, the talks appear to be continuing to some degree. The Iranian delegation did walk out after President Trump threatened to kill them during a phone interview with Fox News. Specifically, President Trump threatened to kidnap or kill the negotiating team if Iran closes the strait again in response to Israeli advances in Lebanon. Upon these remarks being broadcast, the Iranian delegation walked out of a photo op that had been planned with Vice President Vance, although they did not completely halt talks. Concerning Lebanon, Prime Minister Netanyahu has stated many times that Israeli forces will not depart Lebanon, and over the weekend, the IDF continued to consolidate the gains made so far. No withdrawal of the IDF has been noted in any way, which is a non-starter for the peace process, but the reason for this is probably not just about politics and attempting to assert dominance. The tactical situation on the ground is not great, and the sudden signature of the MOU ahead of schedule appears to have caught the IDF in a predicament. If the IDF were to halt their forward progress right now, they would be at a military disadvantage as they mostly occupy the low terrain in Tabia, northward along the Litani River basin. The IDF has just barely gotten a foothold on the northwestern side of the Litani, infamously capturing the historic Beaufort Castle last week, which serves as the only real tactically advantageous terrain along this eastern front. As a result, the IDF knows that they will get pounded by Hezbollah's rockets if they stay where they are, especially since they have overextended themselves to the point that a salient, or a bulge in the lines, has emerged, exposing this spearhead to attacks from three sides. This vulnerability has been noted by the attack on the armored column a few days ago, which was advancing north in Nabatea. The IDF could, of course, always resolve their disadvantage in terrain by stopping their invasion of Lebanon and withdrawing to their own borders, but this is absolutely not going to happen at this point. What's far more likely is for the IDF to continue pushing until they fully seize and consolidate the high ground east of Et Tahrir. From there, they will be able to look down on the collection of towns that make up the greater Nabatea area. How this will work out is anybody's guess, as the IDF is not exactly accustomed to fighting ground advances of several miles from their own borders with a serious and well-equipped adversary like Hezbollah. Bottom line, the situation in Lebanon is messy and very unlikely to be resolved anytime soon due to the military situation on the ground. As Lebanon is a central focus point for the US-Iran deal, the proverbial rock has met the typical hard place, and this is going to be a problem for the deal moving forward. This concludes The Wire for 2300 Zulu, June 27th.
Okay, the Wire report today. I got a 5-minute R&R and a 3-minute video.
(1865) was the first direct tax levied by Parliament on the colonies, which had no elected representatives in Parliament to approve or debate it. British Parliament later stated in the Declaratory Act that they had full power and authority to make laws and statutes of sufficient force and validity to bind the colonies and people of America in all cases whatsoever. According to the story, the American Revolution wasn't about the size of the tax. It was about the right of Britain to impose taxes on the colonists without their consent. From 1868 to 1913, 90% of federal tax revenue came from alcohol and tobacco taxes. In 1909, President Taft recommended that Congress propose a constitutional amendment to give the government power to tax incomes without apportioning the burden. In 1913, the Federal Reserve Bank was established. Along with it came the ratification of the 16th Amendment, which gave what many court cases show to be undue power to the Internal Revenue Service. This includes case law that was withheld from IRS employee training, such as Stanton versus Baltic Mining Company. Bill Benson's findings, published in The Law That Never Was, make a case that the 16th Amendment was not legally ratified and that the Secretary of State committed fraud when he declared it so in 1913. The 1913 Form 1040 shows that only those with annual incomes of at least $3,000 were instructed to file an income tax return, the equivalent to approximately $98,000 in 2025. And only about 3% of the population was subject to the income tax. In the years following the Great Depression, taxes were raised from about 1/10 of a person's income to 1/3, and during World War II, the taxpayer base was expanded from 4 million people to 42 million. The current Tax Payment Act of 1943 required employers to withhold federal income tax from an employee's paycheck each pay period and send the payment directly to the IRS. There is no statute in the Internal Revenue Code that clearly makes the average American wage earner liable to file a 1040 or pay income tax on their labor. In the Code of Federal Regulations, 26 CFR Section 601.602 states explicitly the tax system is based on voluntary compliance. The IRS counters that Congress gave the Secretary of the Treasury power to enforce these laws through involuntary collection if voluntary compliance fails. In 2026, while many Americans struggle to make ends meet and argue that the IRS is unconstitutional, the White House is targeting a July 4 deadline for the Clarity Act to become law, which will be the legal framework for the agentic crypto economy and comprehensive oversight by the IRS. Changes to Internal Revenue Code Section 6045 require brokers, any person who is responsible for regularly providing any service effectuating transfers of digital assets on behalf of another person, to report digital asset transactions to the IRS. This is happening on the international level as well. By the time the agentic AI commerce is fully running, every wallet, every broker, and every cross-border data sharing agreement will already be wired directly into the IRS and its international counterparts. The U.S. has explicitly rejected the CBDC model in favor of privately issued dollar-backed stablecoins regulated under the Genius Act and soon the Clarity Act. But the surveillance and programmability concerns associated with CBDCs are still being achieved through state-mandated reporting wrapped around privately issued tokens that are functionally just as traceable. Circle, the issuer of the USDC stablecoin, which handles 98% of AI agent payments, is positioning itself as infrastructure for tokenized carbon credits. And so if a future carbon tax were ever implemented, the infrastructure will already be in place for it. Greg Reese reporting.
Okay, that was the R&R there. I'm going to finish the last one with a 3-minute one.
Then impossible to ignore. Trump 88, J. Kennedy 88, Team Draft 88, He's Back Team 88. It was as history itself was echoing, calling names, calling spirits, calling a team, not of politics alone, but of real purpose, a Christ gathering, a team draft. People from all walks of life began to feel it, an unseen pull, a knowing deep inside that they were chosen for something greater than themselves. And then the messages became too clear to ignore. The signs were literally everywhere. Literally everywhere. The best is yet to come, 228. Hope sparked where fear once lived. A new awareness unfolded right before our eyes, and we had a shift in our perspective. A new way of seeing. Welcome to the negative 48 world, 228. It takes a working ABC team, 228. Michael believes in his team, 228. Decode King Jesus Christ, 228. This wasn't just a MAGA movement. It was a mission of alignment, mind, body, and spirit. A call to unity through truth, love, and discipline. Each person a piece of something divine. Learning to decode not just the world, but themselves. And as the energy built, the message expanded beyond borders around the world, beyond systems, beyond fear. The best is yet to come, EP 249. A new chapter, a louder call. Jesus, make America godly again, 249. This world needs Jesus, 249. Are you on Christ's team, 249? A team to serve the world, 249. Daddy is
just new
back.
one, guys.
Daddy is back. Daddy is back, 249. The cry wasn't about power. It was about return. A return to faith, a return to love, and a return to service, a return to Him. And in that moment, the question wasn't for someone else. It was for you. Are you ready to step onto the field, to serve, to lead, to love, to do what He did for us? What would Jesus do? That's the question. Because the story isn't finished. It's just beginning. And we are on the field in the front row together as His children. Where we go one, we go all, worldwide. I love you all. Happy Easter.
So that was all right. Okay, guys, tomorrow is the 23rd. On Thursday, I got to arrange the schedule around because I don't know about what time that event's going to be on Thursday night. So I might do one long show with that when that starts up. So we'll see what happens on Thursday. And so a lot of stuff coming out. I'm trying to get everything out for everybody. Can do so much each day. So till tomorrow. God bless, or thanks, bye. Find you okay, Lucy, Carol, Tim. And God bless everybody. Love all. Please hit like. And thanks. Yeah, we got one of the best team channel we got here. A lot of great support. Yep, take it easy, Kim. All right, God bless. She's wrong, keep me. There we go up. Signing off for a Monday night. Chico and Dude and Night Bella and Ariella. We'll see you tomorrow.